Before I start this video, I have to apologize to my family, my subscribers, because I say time and time again that you guys are my family, yet I did not update you on this situation. I did tell you guys I was going through a hard time and I messed up my last relationship, with the love of my life, and how I'm praying for things to happen, yet I did not let you know or give you guys the answers to what happened in the end for this situation. So I'm sorry. Let's just get into it. Let's not waste any time. So, God restored my relationship with the love of my life. And first of all, I want to say that I'm grateful to God for everything, because there's so much peace, so much love, and so much security in this relationship. And it's not by my power. It's not by her power. It's simply by God's power, Sometimes when bad things happen, we're sat here thinking, God, why me? God, why so much pain? What's this? What's that? And I can guarantee you that was definitely me in the month of August, as you can see on my videos, I have a bunch of videos in that month expressing how down I was and how much I was in regret and how I was suffering because of the consequences of my actions, because I was disobedient, because I didn't listen to God's instructions. But I can say today that I obeyed, and he restored what he said he would restore. So I'm going to tell you guys the cutesy stuff first. There was a day I was going to a party, and a few days prior to that, God was telling me that the trials are over, that I know everything that I need to know, and now I can be reunited with the love of my life. So there I am on that day, very happy, anticipating that, okay, surely it's just going to happen today. But then the end of that day reached, and I was like, I thought you said the trials were over. I was like, well, see you to the next day. So there I am waiting the next day, and obviously the morning has passed, not seen anything. I actually didn't hear from God at that morning, and I was annoyed because God said one thing the other day. Yeah, I couldn't hear him the next day, that he said I would see the things unfold. So I'm a bit annoyed, but in that moment I was like, you know what, God, I can't hear you. I learned the importance of still praying when you can't hear God, which I'll make a topic about for a different day. But I said, God, I'm still going to praise you even if you don't answer me and things of that nature. And I don't know if this is just a coincidence, but as soon as I realized that lesson, the day was rainy at first, and then the sun started to come up. And it's like God was just like congratulating me for finally realizing the idea, realizing the point of faith, like what it means to have faith in what you can't see. So there I am, feeling accomplished, and then I'm going on the train to central London to meet my friends where a party is happening. And I'm praying to God, like, you know what, God, I know you said the trials are over. Whilst I would like me and this woman getting back together, I understand if you won't, and I'm going to be okay with that. And as soon as I prayed, as soon as I said those words out of my mouth, I see a bunch of spamming of likes on my Instagram of the love of my life. And I'm there looking like, whoa, okay, that's very, very trippy. That was like, okay, maybe this is a coincidence, maybe doesn't mean anything. Because when God has given you instruction and you've been through so much, and it's like, okay, let me not fall into any impulsive decisions. But then she kept liking my stories, and I know she's watching this, but I kept posting things at the party I was at, posting stuff for my friends. She would like it in 0.1 seconds, and this is after 5 weeks of not hearing from her, by the way, because she was instructed by God to not contact me at all, and I'm very glad she didn't. Otherwise I wouldn't have learned the lessons that I was meant to learn. But just seeing that every time I prayed, we weren't speaking, but every time I prayed, something would happen. So then the next day happens, and I'm just there, and then I'm debating, okay, she's liked all my pictures, should I message her and stuff like that? And I was getting nudged by God to call her, and I still was unsure if I should do that. I didn't want to make any impulsive decisions. And then, I was then driving, and I was like, you know what, let me just go and call her. And funny enough, when I did call her, she had just finished praying. So this is why I say, like, God works in funny ways, because when I prayed, she liked my pictures and stuff like that. And then when she prayed and finished, that's when I called her. So it's like the way God aligns things is amazing. And then we spoke, reunited. The beautiful thing about all of this, guys, is that when we did reunite and we spoke, she had evidence upon evidence of how much she was stalking me during the whole time of our break. Because, you know, since I didn't hear from her, I thought she was fully angry at me. I thought she didn't like me anymore. I thought she hated me for my bad behavior. But turns out she was stalking me the whole time. She was watching my YouTube channel the whole time, liking my videos, being the first one to like it, staying up to watch my videos. It was like, it almost brought me to tears because it made me realize like this woman really loves me. Despite how crazy I was, she still saw me as a good man. And I'm just grateful to God that I didn't lose this woman, you know, due to my stupidity. Things have just been smooth since, and it really was in accordance to what God told me. For those of you that weren't here for the previous videos, after me and this girl had broken up, I got on the floor to God and I simply said to him that I give up doing things my way. I've been doing things my way for the past how many years, and it's still not working. So I give my life, my soul, my everything to you. You have your way with me and help me get all my opportunities that I missed, the years that I lost, the relationship that I lost back. And he said, you're not going to get them back the way you think that you want them back. You're going to get it back 10 times better, and it's going to be an era of peace for you. However, you need to sacrifice your old ways. You need to die to your old self, because where you're going does not accept your old and bad habits. Essentially, God demands me to be a more different individual. So we praise God for that, because he really meant what he said, because it's just been an era of peace, and every day he's answering more and more of my prayers. So why did I need that breakup in the first place? Why did God do that? A lot of people seem to think that when they are separated from somebody, that God is punishing them, or God is just unhappy with them and things of that nature. And whilst, yes, you may have sinned to cause a breakup, or whilst you may not understand why God has separated you from someone or whatever it is, whatever the case may be, you have to understand that God will never do something to you to hurt you. You have to understand that God loves you, and anything that he does is out of love. So when, for me, example, when we broke up, I was debating if God was unhappy with me for everything that I did. But he disliked the sin, I was doing, but it wasn't a punishment. This was an opportunity for me to grow into a much better version of myself, a more different version of myself, a version of myself that's not into fornication anymore, a version of myself that has let go of my anger, a version of myself that has addressed my childhood traumas and faced them once and for all, rather than running like a coward. You see, there was many things that God needed to address about me, and I have them on a notepad here. This is like the first time I'm doing a script for a video, so I'm gonna read it from here, what the first point was. The first point is, God needed me to know how to lead spiritually. You see, in society, it always talks about a man needs to be this. He needs to provide. He needs to be strong. He needs to be this, and the third, for his woman to respect him and protect his household. And yes, whilst those things are very, very true, the funny thing about it is that none of those matter if you're not leading your family or your relationship in a way that pleases God. Doesn't matter how much money you get. Doesn't matter how big your muscles are. Doesn't matter how much you get. God cares about how you lead your people spiritually. And when I look at the course of how my old relationship was, yes, I was providing financially. Yes, I was strong. Yes, I could drive. There was a lot to my name that I had physically. I had loads of physical things, you know. So when the relationship didn't last, that's why I looked at myself like, I've done everything that I can and it still didn't work. I protected her, I did this and I did that. And God was like, yeah, I'm not doubting that you didn't do those things. You did those things. But how would you say you was leading your woman spiritually? That's why I had a little bit of a reflective moment and a few weeks of just feeling really guilty, because reality of the case is, whilst I did implement God in my relationship, and there was a lot of good I did in the spiritual sense in my relationship, there was also quite a bit that I didn't do. So it was 50-50 God, 50-50 not God. And there was me being, very harsh when I was annoyed at her. I wouldn't talk out of love or be patient because I was very snappy. I let the stress of my outside things get to me, and it just made a very bad environment. I didn't make things very nice. Additionally to that, I was fornicating. And that's a big, big one, because a lot of men in relationships don't know how to lead in the spiritual sense. And they're wondering why they're not in a relationship. And a lot of women are wondering why their relationship isn't working with the man that they really like. And that's because God needs the men to lead spiritually. I think everyone in the world, even people that are non-Christians, will always sit there and laugh at Adam and Eve because Eve ate the apple. Oh, it's her fault, X, Y, Z, or this and that. But really and truly, it was Adam's fault. And I'm going to tell you this because, yes, Eve ate the apple, but Adam should have had this ground to stand and be like, no, I'm not going to eat it. I'm not going to do this. A lot of people out here in relationships a lot of men are out here in relationships trying to lead, but still fornicating. And you can't lead if you're fornicating because you are messing with somebody's life. And when I say you're messing with somebody's life, is that God could come down any second. I want you to think of this concept anytime you feel like fornicating. God could come down any second, any time. And you could still be in the mindset or in the middle of fornicating. And if that's the case, you're going to hell. And it's not just you that's going to hell. It's the person that you claim to love that's going to hell with you. Because what does it say in the Bible? God doesn't want us to fornicate. God doesn't want us having sex outside of marriage. It's not right. And he's trying to keep us safe. So when we're not listening to God, when you're having sex with someone, you've got to understand that, yes, you're protecting your woman in the physical, but you're not protecting her in the spiritual. How can God bless or anoint a relationship like that? More importantly, how can you say you love somebody when you're not protecting them spiritually? You're dragging them to sin with you. A lot of you guys are sat there thinking, I really need to though. I really need to get this itch. I've been stressed recently. I need to. And it's like, we're not down that you're not stressed. We're not down that you need to have it. But you're going to drag someone's life down with you to hell to get that itch off. You see, when you're in a relationship as a man, you're responsible for everyone's lives because you're the leader. Men are the leader of relationships, right? So you're responsible for your woman's life and your children's life, or even before children, you're responsible for your woman. And it's like, how do you protect your woman spiritually? Do you drag her to sin with you? And that's the wrong thing. You've got to learn how to protect your woman spiritually. Because all good is protected her physically. You see me, I got all the muscles in. I'm pretty muscly, I'm big, I can fight, because of my training and stuff like that. I'm street smart, all kinds of things. I have all of that. But one thing I was very weak at, not very weak essentially, but like not doing to my best ability at all, was not leading her spiritually or protecting her spiritually. When I realized that was the case, which a lot of you will realize, I don't think a lot of you guys do it on purpose, but you realize that you're not protecting your woman spiritually and you're putting her in harm's way for an eternal damnation in hell. And I just said to myself, nah, if I get into a relationship again, I don't give a damn what itch I need to get off. I don't give a damn how bad I want to have sex. I'm going to protect the woman that I love, because it's one thing for me to go to hell. That's scary enough. To bring someone that I claim to love to hell with me scares the absolute crap out of me. I couldn't bear that feeling. And once I realized how bad I messed up, I cried in God's presence. I apologized so many times that I lost count. And it just overwhelmed me how merciful he was to me, because of how much I wanted to change. So a lot of you are here sitting there thinking, oh, I've sinned too much. God isn't looking at the sin that you did. He's looking about your attitude to change. So don't be discouraged. And men, when you're in a relationship, protect that woman spiritually. Because I've always been told by her and everyone else, oh, you're so strong, you're so fearless, you're so confident, you're so this, you're that, you're unstoppable. Yet, I wasn't unstoppable in the spirit. What's good having all of this physical stuff if I'm useless in the spirit? it's more than just praising God. It's what do you do when spiritual attacks come at you? I wasn't equipped. I knew of God and I did God's teachings. I implement God in my relationship, but I didn't implement that bit. And that bit is very big for a relationship. Additionally, I also had to learn how to love selflessly. Because I guess and I had to learn to love myself selflessly so I could love others selflessly. The problem with a lot of people is that they go into relationships thinking that, what's in it for me? What can I get from this person? And most of the time it stems from the fact that there's been a lot of expectations set on you from when you were a young age, and you've grown up now to make a name for yourself or get stuff or status of some kind for yourself. And now you're sat here thinking, well, the world didn't love me until I got these things. So now I'm not going to love anyone until they have this set of criteria. Now don't get twisted. I was really good to my woman. I loved her and everything like that, but I would say I put a lot of pressure on her because I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. I would degrade myself mentally and make myself feel less than if I didn't accomplish something. And that's why I really needed to dig in and see where that was stemming from. And it stemmed from my childhood. I was neglected by my father. I was neglected by friends and all kinds of stuff like that. So when I finally became cool, manny and stuff like that, and got love of that kind, I started to get very picky and demanding. I was a good person, however, in terms of a relationship, there was a lot of, it just wasn't pleasant. It just wasn't pleasant, to say the least. And that's why I needed to know that, okay, Emmanuel, I need to love myself first and realize that my value is based on God's love. And God loves me already. God says I'm good enough already. He loves me just the way I am, and I'm going to improve to be better for him. Now, when I'm within a relationship with someone, how do I move when I'm annoyed by something they did? Am I going to understand that 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10 with this wonderful lady, it's a mistake? Or am I going to take it personally and say stupid phrases like, if you do that one more time, that's it, you're gone. If you do that one more time, we're breaking up, or things of that nature. That ain't cool. And that's what I was doing. And it's like, if God wouldn't do that to me, if God's never been to me like, if you do that one more time, you're out. Why would I say that to a girl that makes minor mistakes? It'd break her confidence because she never had that thought for me. I can make a mistake a million times, she's still here. But me, I'm more like that. It's not good. Makes someone feel useless. And it's one of them ones where they're really trying to be better and they are being better, but you just keep picking at them. So I really needed to sit and love myself. Well, allow God to make me love myself for me to be better. Lastly, I had trust issues because, like I just said, I had a childhood where I was abandoned and neglected by a lot of people. You feel me? So that made being in a relationship hard because I felt like I always had to be one step ahead of everybody in my life. That being my parents, because my dad was evil. I felt like I had to be ahead of my mom, my brothers, my sister, my friends, my girl. And it's sad because none of these people were ever trying to hurt me. Yeah, there were people in the past that hurt my ego and stuff like that. But the people I have now genuinely love me. Like, they genuinely care about me. Yeah, I still had this wall of having a plan B. Like, oh, I'm ready for you guys just in case you do me wrong or whatever like that. And you can't love authentically like that. If you are trying to stay ahead or planning for things that might happen in a negative way that's meant to be in a good situation, it's going to be destroyed. And what ended up happening is that I was being mentally prepared to disassociate, to distance myself, to push her away, to be like, get lost or whatever it is, because I felt like she could switch up any moment. But if I'm in a relationship that's of God, I don't need to think of that or whatever it is. And say for the odd chance where she may switch up on me one day, why am I so fixated of what I'm going to do and planning for that when really all I could do is just trust in God's hand. A lot of us seem to be in situations in life where we are trying to do too much with our own physical self. And you've got to understand there's certain things, a lot of things that you just can't control. And the movements of people is especially that. Yes, my woman's never going to do me wrong, and she never has done me wrong. Yes, my friends are never going to do me wrong, or whatever it is. But in the odd chance that they do, God has said in the Bible in Deuteronomy that your mother and father could abandon you, and I'm still going to be by your side. So that's why I had to really have a humbling moment that, no, you can't plan all this kind of stuff, because you're gonna self-sabotage, you're gonna micromanage, you're gonna destroy a good thing. Instead, trust in me to protect you. Wash your hands in innocence, like it says in the Bible, and I will be with you in all your troubles. I will deliver you and honor you with long life, and I'll satisfy you and show you salvation of the Lord in Jesus' name. These are things that are said in the Bible, and it's stuff that I would read every day, yet I truly didn't trust the Lord. I didn't trust in the things that I couldn't see. I just think I was trusting myself because, well, I can't see if God's going to be there for me if they betray me. I can't see if God's going to give me that. I can't see if X, Y, and Z. So when God took the relationship away from me, he forced me to be in a position where I had to believe that the relationship was going to be rekindled despite all the ish that I did. I trusted him that's going to work. And it was very uncomfortable for me at first. I was like, oh God, I can't see it. I was really upset. But here I am today, believing in what I can't see, because I ain't gotta see it for me to believe in God. If God said it's gonna happen, I gotta sit down, wait, smile, praise him all the time, and trust that it's gonna happen. And like he said he would, the relationship got restored because I believed what I couldn't see. So a lot of you are starting like, what if my partner does this? Let that trauma go. Trust in God to be with you if that ever was to happen. He ain't gonna leave you, I promise you. But a lot of us think that God, he might forget, or maybe he won't do it the way I need to. Nah, I promise you. There's times in my life where I look back as well where I didn't believe in God, but he still protected me in situations that I didn't plan for. So I ain't gotta worry about that. And that's what made my trust issues a lot more better, because now I can interact with people knowing that I love this person so much. I can give my all. And if they're stupid enough to move weird about it, I can trust that God will protect me and move me away from that and help me heal from that swiftly. You know, there's no more burden of, oh, but what if this, what if that, or paranoia, or, self-sabotaging. There's just simply calming down and enjoying the good moment. That's what a lot of you guys gotta do. You gotta enjoy the good moment and trust that God will protect you through all evil stuff. That's my testimony of how I got back with my woman. But it couldn't have been done without me having faith in God and my faith being built. And this is a message to anyone out there that wants the relationship restored, the marriage restored. It's possible, but you have to understand that it takes two to want it in a godly way. Anyways, a lot of you guys have lost people that you're not in a relationship with anymore, and it's like, oh, I really love them and stuff like that. But you've got to understand that you can't see it, but God has something better planned for you. I couldn't see that God was going to deliver me from the old relationship into a newer relationship with the same person that was 10 times better than the one before it. I couldn't see how that was possible because I had this plan and idea in my head, but I trusted in God and he reunited me with the love of my life, and now we're in a relationship that's just so beautiful, so peaceful, and so edifying. So you may not see anything better than what you had, but trust me, whether it's with the same person or with a new person, God will restore it. He will restore your lost years. He will restore the love that you had for somebody, whether it be for the same person and they changed to God for the better, or it's with a different person. You will feel that feeling of love again. That feeling of love will be restored, accepted to a newer person. So don't worry. Don't even question how he's going to do it. Don't even question if he's going to do it. Trust and believe that he is in your favor, because he certainly was in my favor. Do not lose hope. God is there for you through everything. You just gotta trust him. And I promise you, you will see the blessings that you're eventually trying to see. God can restore anything. He can restore your marriage, he can restore your relationship, he can restore your family, he can restore you. Whatever it is you lost, this is the season where you will get it back 10 times better. But you've got to be open to learning the new things so that you can be prepared to receive the blessings and manage them better. I thank God for having this separation period because I learned all these things in the way. And because I learned all these things with God, I was able to receive it 10 times better and manage it 10 times better like I am right now. There will be situations where, you're sat there thinking, what if I'm not ready? Whatever it is. The thing is with us guys, we're always not ready. During that period, I read a lot of King David, and his story of how he killed Goliath and a bunch of other things. And the thing that I loved about this story, which actually helped me increase my faith, was the fact that he was there about to fight Goliath. And King Saul was like, you have no experience, and this Goliath guy is very experienced. You are not ready. It is impossible for any of us to kill him. And King David was like, I got attacked by a lion one time. I wasn't ready for that. And God had my back. And the same way God had my back for the lion, God will have my back for Goliath. Whilst I may not have the experience or built up in that type of way, the Lord will see me through. And he spoke with such a confidence that spoke that maybe physically and in the worldly sense I'm not ready. But so long as I lean on God, I will always be ready. And that's the final message that I can close with today. You may not always be ready. You may not always have the answers. And it's not every season of your life where you need a separation period or to suffer to gain knowledge. Because I guess one thing we all have to remember as Christians is that, whilst we may not know or have the answers to everything, whilst we may not always be ready, with God, as soon as we lean on God and with God's power, we will always be ready. And that's the key thing that you have to remember. You will always be ready when you are ready to lean on God, when you're ready to let go of your worldly teachings, let go of your worldly ways, let go of everything that you knew before. As soon as you lean on God, you will always be ready. And that's the mentality that I have now. Rather than panicking or doing all kinds of stuff, instead, and it's worked out for me very well, and my life has been very easy, very peaceful, because God is a God of peace. It's no longer hectic or anxiety inducing. I now lean on God 100%. And because I lean on God 100%, I'm always ready. I fear nothing anymore. So sometimes for the person watching this, it just takes for you to lean on God to do whatever it is that you're asking him to do. And if he doesn't do exactly how you want it, trust that he will do it better. But you must lean on him and be ready to sacrifice your old ways so that you can be ready to lean and trust in his new ways. With that being said, my people, God bless, take care, let's stand tall and march into God's will together as one family. Take care and have a great week.